Hey guys, Nicole Cooper here. How are y'all? Good to connect with you. I wanted to hop on today, y'all, and just share this message with you guys. I was in church today and this message came to me and I was like, I gotta put this out there because some of you guys are struggling with disappointing people. So let me talk to you about what that means, right? A lot of us are out here trying to find our way in the world, right? So you might have people around you who you respect, you get counsel from, you get guidance from, you talk to about things that you want to do. They know you well. They've gotten to learn who you really are over the years. They know your talents, your gifts, your skills, this, that, and the other. And they mean well in your life. But unfortunately, we as people, we love to have other people validate us, right? We love to have people give us permission because we grew up with the rule of asking and having somebody give you permission, that we've gotten to a place where we're letting other people make decisions and choices about our lives that we have given up our power for, right? We've given up our power to other people. And what happens, guys, is when you start giving other people permission to tell you what you should and should not do, you lose sight of that voice within that is designed to give you divine, God-inspired guidance, right? So let me just use myself for an example, guys. Many of you guys, if you're watching this video, you guys know me and you know my background, you know me. You probably know me better than family members, right? And the issue that I've had over the years is that I've been in circles where people feel like they know me enough to help make decisions about my life, help make recommendations and suggestions, and give me some sense of guidance of what I should and should not do. But sometimes, although people mean well, guys, it can work against you because God will often take you in the complete opposite directions of what you as a person thought you should do, as well as what a lot of people within your circle will try to suggest that you do. And so over the last couple of years, I felt God telling me to quit a lot of things that were what I was used to doing, what I was good at doing, what was normal for me, what was expected of me, right? It was like, this is the next step that a person like you should take or would take or can take that will lead you to this path, and you should do it, right? And the funny thing is, guys, listen, we have to learn to pay attention when things are not working out. And we might call it failure. And a lot of times when something isn't working out, we think it's personal failure. Like, it's my fault, it's not working. I'll tell you what I dealt with. I dealt with feeling like I lost my mojo, okay? So if I tried something and it didn't pan out, I felt like I was losing my mojo. And guys, when you get into a place where things aren't working out and it's a bruise to your ego, because if you feel like you're losing your mojo, or you feel like it's a reflection on your inability to do something, what do we do? Especially people who are strivers or achievers, or people who are relentless about their goals and their dreams. People like me work harder at it, right? If it's not working, we're like, we're gonna make this work. And you work harder and harder and harder trying to force it to work because your ego is being bruised, because you're realizing that what you thought was going to work out as a perfect plan is not working out at all. And as a matter of fact, it's exposing that whatever you're trying to do, you suck at it, or that it's just not going to come together, and you're not going to get the big win or the trophy like people like me are used to getting, right? We are people who we want to accomplish goals and we want to check them off our list, right? And so a lot of times we'll try to do things and we'll try to force them to work, and we stay in a place too long. We continue trying to do things that we are comfortable and good at doing, and we force ourselves to try to make them work too long. You keep trying to do this thing because you had success in it before, and so you go through the process 1,000,001 times because you're like, I got this, I could do it in my sleep, I could do it, you do it over and over again. But what I love about God is He will frustrate your plans, baby. God will close those doors. And I was just saying, Larice just hopped on here, I just replied to a post in my social media feed, in my Facebook feed, and I said, the biggest revelation that God has given me in this season is that you cannot You cannot go into this new season being who you once were. You're going to have to release yourself of who you used to be so that you can free up to become who you need to be in this season. And here's the reality about that, guys. The reality is you're not the expert, you're not the guru, you're not the perfect person who got it all together. You're not going to be all those things that you may have been at the top of the other mountain. You are going to start from scratch in a place of humility where you become a student again, where you start being willing to be open again, where you start being willing to go and ask for help, and you go and allow people to pour into you, and you go and allow yourself to learn new things so that you can go to new places. And I saw that I was trying to attach myself to who I was 10 years ago and try to bring that into this new season, and it was getting frustrated. And God began to tell me, Nicole, listen, I don't care how many which ways you try to splice this bad boy, it's not going to work. You can keep trying to force it, you can try to push it, you can try to pay for it, you can try to steal it, you can try to recreate this wheel 1,000,001 ways, but boo, if you don't follow what I'm telling you to do, you're going to stay in the same place for a very long time until the point where you start realizing like you're going to have to let it go. And so I began to release myself. It is a very painful process to release who you used to be. Okay, it's kind of like the athlete who was a superstar in school and you were on a championship team and you go off to the league and you on a failing team, or you never make it to the league. You end up becoming a basketball coach for the local AAU team, and you trying to scream at the kids because of who you used to be. And the reality is, it ain't about who you used to be. It's who can you help these new young children become, right? And so that was one of the things that God began to show me. He was showing me that I was trying to continue to build myself up. And the reality is that in this season, it's not about me. It's not about my personal goals. It's not about trying to get out here and force things to happen for popularity purposes or even just to make money, right? I was just telling my husband, I said, you know, it's so funny. I'm in a season of serving, and my serving is from a standpoint of like, how can I help build others up? Because that's just the season that God has me in. I'm no longer caught up in like, you know, let me get out here and build my brand, and let me get out here and make all this money for me, and let me get out here. No, I'm trying to figure out how can I help 1 million families in the next 10 years free themselves and escape poverty by learning and developing skill sets that's going to transform their lives and the lives, the legacy that they build for their family. How can I begin to take all the things that I've spent all these years learning and position it to where I can sow it into other people to set them free? And the other day I was in Florida. I was down, I was in Fort Myers or Cape Coral, somewhere I was down there. And I went to the beauty supply store. And when I went to the beauty supply store, when I was walking in, I saw this guy in a wheelchair. And he was in the wheelchair and he was banging some good old school R&B music, right? So while he's banging the music, I'm singing the song and I'm just looking at him, rocking my head to let him know, thank you for playing the music. It was taking me back. I think it was like 112 or, you know, one of our, what we grew up to, right? So he starts smiling because he saw that I was enjoying the music that he created, but you could tell he was disabled, right? And so I went I just waved at him and said, hey, how you doing? You know, I just talked to him for a second. And then I went into the beauty supply store and I just felt the Holy Spirit basically telling me, like, talk to him when you walk out. Like, he's not out here just playing music for nothing. Talk to him, right? So I bought my little stuff from the beauty supply store and I came outside and I said, well, hey, what you got going out here? You playing, you playing this good music and all this stuff. You hanging out here. What are you doing out here? And so he said to me, and I don't know what his situation is, but he can't speak as clearly, right? And he's kind of handicapped, I can't remember what they call it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm trying to understand what he's saying and he's speaking, and I'm trying to read his mouth, and I'm trying to, understand and so I can have a conversation with him. And he was like, I'm out here, I'm selling candy so I can raise money to pay my bills. So he opened up his backpack and he had a backpack full of candy, right? And I was like, I said, I'm proud of you. You're an entrepreneur, right? So we started talking about some of the stuff that he did. He said, yeah, I had a gumball machine, and he's telling me all the things. He said that he raised money to help his mother pay for it, the bills. He was 29 years old. He was disabled. He couldn't find a job. So he was like, I'm going to sell candy to raise money. So I pulled out whatever I had in my wallet and I just gave it to him. And I said, let me talk to him. So I just started asking him, like, telling him how proud I was of him, and that it took a lot to be in this Florida heat trying to sell candy. And I was like, do you get a lot of people that buy your candy? And he was like, it just depends on what day it is. He was like, some days I could leave with nothing, some days I could leave with $5, right? And so my heart dropped, and I was like, okay, well, let me ask you a question. Do you have a computer at home? And he was like, yeah. I said, well, do you ever get online, and do you ever look for things online where you can make money from home? And he was like, well, not really. I don't know what to look for. So long story short, I told him to give me his number, and we talked. I said, well, I don't know how I can help you, but maybe I can think of something that can help you. I said, because there's people that I've worked with before that was full paraplegic that literally only the neck up worked, and they used a pen in their mouth and they were building online businesses. So I've worked with people in so many different capacities. So I told him, I said, well, give me your number. We're going to stay in touch. We got on each other's social media account, and I was like, I can't tell you how I'm going to help you. I can't make any promises, but I will say that I will see what I can find that's going to be able to help you do some things from home, right? Because he's not really making any money selling candy. And so, guys, I got into the car, and I couldn't even put my seatbelt on, and I broke out into tears crying. I cried for probably a good 5 minutes. And I just started weeping, and I was like, God, these are the kind of people that we should be out here serving, right? It's like we have all these gifts and talents and skills, but there's so many of us that are so consumed with ourselves. How can I make more money? How can I build my brand? How can I do this? How can I do it? How can I? And at the end of the day, it's a world of people out here that are hungry, and they're willing to work hard, and they're willing to do whatever it takes if somebody would give them a chance. And I began to just pray, and I was like, God, show me what I can do so I can help people like this young man, so that I can open up some kind of window. I don't care if it's to make an extra $500 a month, and it be something legit that's like, it's not going to require them to get out here and do something that they're just not going to be able to adapt to. But how can we help build up a community that support people like that, right? And so I began to pray about those things, and I began to just think it through. And long story short, guys, over the past couple of weeks since that happened, God began to open up my eyes to see all these different things that I could not see when I was so focused on myself. I could not understand, why nothing was working. I couldn't understand why my life was put on this pause button. I was just like, God, why isn't something working? Until now. Now I understand that this is a season of true serving, not a hidden agenda in your serving, but a season to truly serve. And one of the things that I had to get okay with, y'all, was disappointing people. And here's what I mean by that. There's been an audience of people that I've had, not an audience, but a community of people that I've had around me in my past. And those people, they love you enough for you to benefit their goals. But if you step away from anything that's going to benefit them, they're hands off, right? They're no longer a friend. Now they're back and they're observing you. And in most cases, a lot of them are waiting on you to fail, because they feel like if you don't support their agenda, if you don't fall in line with what they think you should be doing, they get a little attitude. And they feel like what you're doing is you're falling off, you're losing your touch, or whatever it is that they want to assume that is happening with you, not realizing that at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with their preferences for you. It has nothing to do with what they suggest or think or recommend that you do. It has everything to do with the assignment that God has you in this season, and how God wants you to use you as a vessel to impact and empower his kingdom. And when we talk about the ability to empower God's kingdom, it means that you become a servant to help other people's lives, to help impact other people's lives. You start opening yourself up from your personal goals and your personal agenda to start saying, okay, God, it has to be bigger than me. It has to be an opportunity for you to use me as a vessel to do something that is so much bigger than me that it actually intimidates the mess out of me, right? That it puts me in a position that I realize, like, this is going to require for God to create a much bigger impact. See, a lot of us are chasing stuff that we can do, right? We can get it. Like for me, I'm good at sales. I'm good at making money. I'm good at building business. I'm good at all these little knick-knack things, right? And they may make me look good, but they're not able to have the level of impact that will be able to be on a kingdom-sized agenda, right? But I've come to realize that as much as I might have developed these gifts and skills over the years, they were not for me. They were not for me to make myself feel good, because at the end of the day, y'all, the day is going to come where I will be leaving this, and I must be in position to leave something behind that God has given me that is going to impact many generations to come. And so your vision, you realize your vision has to be bigger than. My mom keeps calling me. I'm gonna have to do a part 2 to this. So y'all come back, we'll do part 2, but mommy needs me. I'll be right back.